The Mahabharata has a moment so chilling that it haunts you long after you read it. After 18 days of war, after millions lay dead on the field of Kurukshetra, the Pandavas won. Yudhishthira was crowned king. Justice had prevailed. Dharma had triumphed. And then Yudhishthira, the man who had fought the entire war for righteousness, decided to go to heaven. He walked. He literally walked from his kingdom toward the Himalayas, ascending toward the heavens, followed by his 4 brothers and Draupadi. One by one they fell. Draupadi fell first, then Sahadeva, then Nakula, then Arjuna, the greatest warrior alive, then Bhima, the strongest man who ever lived. Each one collapsed and died on the mountain path. Only Yudhishthira and a stray dog that had followed them from the beginning kept walking. When Yudhishthira reached the gates of heaven, Indra appeared in his celestial chariot and said, "Climb in." But Yudhishthira looked at the dog. He said, "The dog has followed me faithfully through everything. I will not enter heaven without him." Indra laughed. "Dogs are not allowed in heaven. Leave it behind." Yudhishthira refused. He said, "I abandoned my wife and my brothers on this path, and I cannot undo that. But I will not abandon a creature that has shown me nothing but loyalty. I would rather go to hell with this dog than to heaven without him." The dog transformed. It was Dharma, the god of righteousness, Yudhishthira's own divine father, testing him one final time. Yudhishthira had passed. He entered heaven. And what he found there broke him. The Kauravas were in heaven. Duryodhana, the man who had tried to murder the Pandavas repeatedly, who had humiliated Draupadi, who had caused the war that killed millions, was sitting in heaven, radiant and at peace. Yudhishthira was furious. "Where are my brothers? Where is Draupadi? Where are the people who fought and died for Dharma?" He was told they were elsewhere. He demanded to see them. They took him to hell. He walked through a landscape of unspeakable horror. Darkness, fire, the stench of decay, screams of suffering. And in the midst of it all, he heard familiar voices. Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva, Draupadi, Karna. They were all there, in agony, calling out to him. Yudhishthira lost his mind. He screamed at the gods. He screamed at Dharma itself. "This is your justice? The people who fought for righteousness burn in hell while the tyrant sits in paradise? I am staying here. I will not go to heaven if this is how the universe works. I will stay in hell with the people I love." The moment he said those words, hell vanished. The darkness lifted, the suffering disappeared. It had been one final illusion, one last test. His brothers and Draupadi had experienced a brief moment in hell to burn off their minor sins, and Duryodhana had experienced a brief moment in heaven as reward for the one thing he did right, dying bravely as a warrior. Now everyone was where they truly belonged. But the test itself is the most disturbing part. The gods tested Yudhishthira not once, not twice, but at every single step. They tested him with the dog. They tested him with the vision of his enemies in paradise. They tested him with the illusion of his loved ones in hell. Even after a lifetime of doing the right thing, even after surviving the deadliest war in history, even after walking to heaven on foot, the universe was still not satisfied. It needed to know if Yudhishthira would choose compassion over self-interest one more time. And the answer the Mahabharata gives is this. Virtue is not a destination. It is not a thing you achieve and then you are done. It is a choice you make again and again at every moment, especially when the choice costs you everything. Yudhishthira chose to stay in hell. That is why he deserved heaven. The Mahabharata does not end with a victory. It ends with a test. And that is why it is the greatest story ever told. Subscribe for more stories from the epic that defined morality